grommets and is supposed to make it faster, safer, and easier. And I've been doing that for a few years now. I had the idea for the A.N.T working for my dad's lawn service in northern Indiana growing up. And it was a tool that once we started using it, we would never go back to working without it. So I'm going around telling people about it and trying to get more people to drag tarps the easier way instead of doing it the hard way.
Fantastic. Thanks, Aaron. Yep, I think a lot of people remember the very first Sync Live in 2023 at Cobb Galleria, where you were, in fact, dragging people around on the floor safely.
If I'm there, you can bet on having a tarp race.
Awesome. Mike and Larry, go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Yes, how you doing? I'm Mike Garvey. This is Larry A.N.T. We're with the Side Hustle Squad podcast, and we met Aaron at Sync Live at on Pod Row. We were right next to each other. Got talking, had him on the did some interviews. He pulled Larry around on the tarp. He's
Safely, yeah.
Safely, yes. Yep. I would have broken it maybe, but Larry's way more. He's
I'm unbreakable.
You're unbreakable.
Oh, that's interesting. More on that later.
But yeah, so we host the Side Hustle Squad podcast. We're of course a group of shows in the green industry, many produced by Mr. Producer. So we're very close with Naylor and John Pajak and all those guys. So we started the podcast 2 years ago, the Side Hustle Squad, based off of me being a full-time New Jersey state trooper. I have 17 years in my 17th year. And then we started our business in 2017, coastal fertilization and weed control. And we specialize in lawn treatments, for obviously fertilization, weed control in rock beds and stuff like that, and then aeration, seeding, and mosquito spraying. So coastal fertilization complements Larry's company, Amazing Creations Landscaping, and I'll let him.
Yeah, so I owned Amazing Creations Landscaping since 1997. We cut about 300 lawns a week. We do fall cleanups, pavers, retaining walls, landscape design, mulch, rocks, all that stuff. And when we're on Pod Row, I wind up looking over and I saw Aaron, the ant guy over there. And I'm like, man, that's a brilliant idea, because I've been pulling, not a lot of guys around here pull tarps. I get them to pull tarps. And once they do it, they never go back because it's fast. It really saves a ton of time in doing like leaf cleanups. So when I saw that idea, I was like, man, that is a great idea. I mean, he probably remembers me going up to him, right, and saying that. I was like, man, I got to see this thing in action.
Yeah,
it was just awesome, seeing that, like some invention like that, so it was really interesting. So
no, it was fantastic when you came up to me, Larry, and you're like, this is a great idea, because this would make it so much easier to do what we do, and we struggle with this and this, and it probably makes it easier to go through gates, and you don't have two people dragging a super heavy load. And I'm like, I don't even have to tell you what it does. You just looked at it and
I mean, you're sitting there dragging tarps like backwards,
Yeah.
You're dragging them forward over your shoulder, hunched, like,
falling down,
and, digging in, and like, it really, I mean, it's probably really not good for you like that. I mean, because you're like really like over your shoulder, putting like, it's bad. But we use your thing a lot in the spring. I can't wait to use it in the fall when it's like more involved with like a lot of leaves. But we used it in the spring, and my guys like loved it. Like, they absolutely loved it. They're like, it's like a saver. Like, it's only one guy doing it instead of two, So they really did enjoy it. So
that's super cool to hear, and I really appreciate that the feedback. And part of the idea that inspired us getting together and talking today was I was speaking with Angelique a few weeks ago, and realized, she's like, can we maybe do a podcast and like talk and like get together and create like what can we talk about? I'm like, well, Larry and Mike got an ant at Sync Live in January, and I haven't followed up and found out what they thought about that. So
shame on you. Yeah,
the first time hearing what you guys think about it, and it could have very easily been, and maybe it'll take a turn and say, well, part two is that it broke and it broke our bodies, and our business shut down because someone saw us using it. It was terrible. I hope that's not the case.
No, not at all. And I look to, he gets to say, oh, it only uses one guy to pull the same amount of load where it used to have two, where the second guy would have to take off the blower and then get with the other guy. That's leaving the other guy on the blower. He does a lot of his cleanups with 6 to 8 guys, and they're all on backpack blowers. So that it's actually it's increasing time, efficiency, everything. And we have a lot of landscapers here too that will blow out everything from the back to the front and not tarp anything, and they're just he has to convince them to be like, dude, what are you doing?
They're doing like 5 cleanups a day. I'm doing like 10 to 15 a day, my way, and they don't get it. They're trying to blow a pile of leaves that are 10 feet tall. I'm like, why don't you get rid of that pile and just go fast and like move it? But what I also really liked about the A.N.T was the hooks to go into like the grommets of the tarp, because usually what you do is like what we'll do is we'll put out like 5 or 6 tarps into a yard. Like we have a video actually up on YouTube or showing like what we do, but we'll put like 5 tarps out and we'll blow all 5 tarps, and one guy, well 2 guys, now one, would like run these tarps and just run tarps and run tarps, And now you just click into the grommets, boom, 1 tarp out, 1 tarp back, tarp out, tarp back. So it really, back saving, time saving, and 2 guys on a tarp instead. Now you have 1, which is, also.
That has to pay for itself just in the, when you go from 2 people to 1, even
1 cleanup.
1 cleanup. Well, I love the simplicity of the tool, but it's also using, almost the way an ergonomic design to leverage, a person to pull more efficiently rather than on your hands,
forward versus bent over, dragging it backwards. Like using your body as a lever just makes it easier to do.
He has very good posture when he uses it.
Yeah.
I love that I got this thing.
It could be a posture builder, couldn't it? Like
you don't have to learn how to use it. It's just kind of like you just put it on and go. So it's not like someone has to like sit there and be like, oh, I can't. It's the easiest thing to figure out.
No, there are instructions that come with it, but you don't need them because it's simple. Anyone can figure it out. It's strapped. You put it around your chest or your where your belt goes, or hold it with your hand if you want to, if that's what's most convenient for the situation. If it was too complicated, I wouldn't know how to use it. So
where did the idea like spark from? Like I knew did you figure this out? Like, oh, if I put this strap, if you remember, could tell us that story.
Yeah, I do remember, because when I was a teenager working for my dad, somebody clued him in, or he figured out himself, that attacking a big wall of wet leaves with a blower is slow or just doesn't work, and you got to do something about it. You got to remove the big piles so that you can keep blowing efficiently. And it was me in my young body at the time that got assigned the task of laying the tarp down and filling it up, and I always hated it, mostly because I just didn't like having to like bunch up the corners and like pull it like this or drag it backwards. And we were at a Jewish cemetery in Lafayette, Indiana. It was, I can paint a vivid image because I remember this. It wasn't fun. It was November and it was starting to sleet, and it got dark at like 4 p.m. and we just had to get through the cleanup of this place to be done. So I'm working with the tarp, and I just had a thought that I wonder if I made like a strap, would this make this easier? So I went to his truck. He is prepared. He's a professional. He carries extra boot laces just in case. So I dug out some boot laces, tied them through the grommets of the tarp, and made the first version of the A.N.T, and kept using it, and thought this would be really nice if I wasn't getting like rope burn from using it, or it wasn't digging into me. And after maybe the next season, we thought, let's try and make an actually good tool that is more convenient to use and kind of solves some of the problems with just using boot laces. So we got like a weightlifting belt and some strap. And then carabiners, the first ones were aluminum, and had our first version of what starts to look like the ant. And then over the
Mm.
years, improved on that all the way up until we thought this seems like a real product. We should try and get a patent and see if this is something that other people have done before. And then I got out of the Army at the same time that I graduated from college, had a patent, and didn't know what to do next. So I thought I should start a business and see if other people enjoy using a tarp strap as much as my dad and I did.
That's great.
Yeah,
Good story.
it is. Yeah.
Solving a problem. That's how you always see these inventions made, right? It's
Yeah.
like,
So true. And what are you going to do next? This is just the
don't know.
start, huh?
You event workers that just work and don't call out.
Yeah, I wish. And Larry, you kind of talked about how I'm glad that you're keyed into, I mean, if you have 6 guys on a cleanup and everyone is blowing, and it can be hard working with people who can be a little stubborn, or I was that person who didn't want to go through the effort of going to get the tarp out. So I just sit there and blow leaves that weren't going anywhere. And I'm like, I'll do this until I get yelled at.
Yeah.
But by incorporating a tarp into the mix and having a person do that, the other 5 people can actually work efficiently because you've got one person taking the bulk of the stuff out over and over until, I mean, on a small property, maybe not so much, but you get like 2 maple trees, and even the biggest, baddest steel blower is going to run into some problems, especially if it's wet.
Yeah.
but it even spans too, I think, between if you have like a 2-man crew or even like a 1-man, if you're a solo operator, it's like you could blow everything onto there and then, okay, then bring the bulk out. And then it's like, or if you have 8 to 10, you know, you have one guy on that also. It's like, it goes across like multiple teams.
Yeah, it really doesn't matter because if you have 2 guys, you're only losing one, you know, instead of losing both off the blower. So kind of, you know, it serves multiple purposes.
Even I think too, not just for leaf cleanups, like hedge trimmings, like you could throw right. I mean, you could put all that stuff on there
when you're bagging grass.
When you're right.
Yeah.
Digging holes for trees, you know, when it's soil that you're moving. I could imagine, if you don't have machines, you know, small backyard, no good access.
Yeah, I mean,
well, and I think it's, you know, you can talk about efficiency and go, oh, well, we'll just work faster, work harder. That's not a good philosophy. You know, it's better to make a step change and do it smarter, planning ahead. Like you said, Larry, you know, laying out all the tarps ahead of time. You know, you're not moving a pile and then moving it again. You know, building a pile, moving it again is like double dipping on work.
Yep. It's all about efficiency at the end of it, you know, figuring out the best way to be efficient. Because my guys, like when we get our cleanups done fast because of like how we do it. So like a lot of my friends own businesses. My guys will go help them, and they come back to me and they're like, I don't even want to do it anymore. It's just like they honestly, I mean, I'll put them on the podcast and they'll tell you straight out, like, I can't work with that guy. They're so inefficient because you're spoiled. The way, you know, you get spoiled into the way you do things, you know, and then, you know, you get something like his invention, the ant, you get spoiled into that. So now like you get spoiled twice. So now you go to another company and they don't have tarps and they don't have something to help with the tarps. Like they don't want to work for them. It was like, I don't want to do it. And that's true. It's a true story. They come back all the time and they say, don't have me go with him anymore. Like they don't want to listen to me and what I'm doing. So they don't want to do it.
This is a great example of how we build a better culture in businesses and we attract people that want to stick around. And, you know, we value the employees and their health. And if they're seeing those differences, it's going to make an impact for who they work for in the future and stick around. So, and I think you guys, because, you know, you're doing multiple jobs, you're maybe more set on efficiency. Do you think that? I mean, Mike and Larry, you know, you're both doing at least 2 jobs each. Well, let's count the podcast too, 3 jobs each. You have to have an eye for what will give you rewards from an efficiency point of view.
Absolutely. And I think, giving your workers the proper tools and fixing the machines and, we just like keeping good maintenance on your equipment and your trucks and, that you actually care shows that you're caring about the equipment that you're giving them and caring about them, their health and like trying to get their job to be easier and not harder.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
That's
really
super
important as a
cool.
leader. Sorry, Larry.
That's super important. It's like that's like very important to make sure the guys know you have their back and stuff, and you want their job to be easier throughout the day. Where I think like, we're together on it. We always tell our guys, like, what do you need? What do you want? What do you need? In the field.
How can I help you?
Getting better at, having, again, we were talking about company culture, like having meetings and saying, okay, what do you guys need? What are you seeing out there? What equipment, what's something that could help? What's wrong with any of the trucks, any of the equipment? Did you, let's get that repaired. We had a guy, his air conditioning broke in his truck and he was, yes, he could go without it, but it's something that he wanted and we got it done. And I checked back in with him the other day. He's like, yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Like, it's all good now, like, cause it's last 2 weeks ago, it was like 100 out. So just
even in New Jersey, huh?
Yeah. But today it's 75. I don't know. Yeah. It's like, it's fall day today. I don't know. But yeah, let's just, again, like it's the listening to them and, trying to paint the picture of, what the company's going to evolve into and what it's going to look like. 8 seasons ago or 8 years ago, it was just me and him in a pickup truck with 10 accounts and, and now it's this, monstrosity, but it's good.
Well, and I think it helps to have good people on your teams, especially when you're juggling, lots of things. You have to have people on your team that you trust and that they love working where they do. I mean, what do you think is what's the obstacle for business owners to invest in better tools? I know you're doing it, but what do you think? I mean, Larry, you mentioned other companies aren't maybe thinking efficiently. What's the obstacle there?
It's really like it's a zero investment if you look at it that way, right? You have to spend some money to make more efficient and make money. So if you go out and you buy a $300 backpack blower and it's not blowing great CFMs and not moving leaves, you spend $500 more and you're really like moving the leaves. If that guy's getting paid $30 an hour and you're getting 4 more houses, like it pays for itself. Like having the better equipment really does pay for itself. And that's one thing like I love about like the events that you do, like meeting Aaron, podcasting, like all this stuff. You meet people and you learn from we have a podcast and we try to help people. How many times it helped me, I can't even tell you. Like endless times. Like, a conversation with a guy who's been in business for 6 months teaches you something because he might do like
he has a different perspective.
Yeah, he's young and he's
hungry,
absorbing tons of information. We're not.
Hey, we're all young here.
Yeah.
No.
I'm like ancient. Like I'm like
97.
Yeah.
Start.
But he was like born in 97. I was like company in 97. But you sit there and you say like if
you're my dad.
You listen to all these people when you go to events like Sync Live. You go to events like it's a community and you're talking to all these people. People don't realize how important those events are. They really don't. Some do. The people who go once, they realize how important it is. Like I would have never met Aaron. Aaron would have never met me. I would have never met you. You would have never met.
Well, I know we had never met.
And what we're learning too, like the smaller shows, they're more,
intimate.
They're more intimate. They're more like you could talk, to people. There's not this pressure to like, oh, I got to go get this done, and I have to go to this, and I got to go to this booth and that booth. It's like sometimes bigger is not always better. Like smaller little thing, gets people together. and you can, really talk to people. They're not rushed to go to the next thing. That's,
not 20 people waiting to talk to
talk
the
to
ant.
yeah,
Talk to
right.
Aaron, the
Yeah.
ant. It's when we were there. It's like
You got him to yourself.
Geez,
Yeah.
yeah. Kind of like it's a moving. It's like it's flowing, and sometimes when you go to these bigger events, like you try to talk to someone, and there's too many people there, so you go back, and.
Well, that you get overwhelmed. Like I love the experience I have at SYNKD every year because I actually get to talk to people like you guys and have conversations, and I always leave with more tools in my belt and information and experiences than I've not. Don't want to disparage, but at Equip Expo, it's overwhelming. There are a million booths, so you couldn't possibly see everything and talk to everybody. Whereas at SYNKD, you can do a couple laps and talk to everybody and actually feel like, okay, well, I've seen a handful of really cool things here that I'm going to remember and think about and take back home. And I think that's much better.
But Equip is so fun. It's like, it's like the
it is hectic.
Super Bowl.
I don't know. It's the
It's like
craziest time.
Like like everything's there. You're
like,
like,
I mean, sometimes I get dizzy. You're like, hey, oh, I forget who I'm supposed to talk to and who I'm supposed to meet.
It is great. I mean,
I love it. Yeah.
But again, even we got to interview some big time people with massive $1 million companies that probably I wouldn't talk to at a bigger event, but being there, like, hey, what's going on? And then you spark a conversation, and then why don't you come on the podcast? Sure, no problem.
Awesome.
So that's what we really took away from it.
Oh, awesome. Well, I'm glad you guys liked it. I'm glad you were able to come along. And we haven't really properly announced this yet, but we're running more with the engagement being the driver of our next events, and we're going cozier environments. We had the big expo hall, which was humongous, and I know we had races and things like that, but our next venues are going to be a bit more cozy, in hotels, like boutique hotel kind of spaces. We're having 2 next year in 2026. So we're going to go to New Orleans in January 2026, and we're going to go to Phoenix in September. So Pod Row, we've talked to Naylor, very excited to keep including Pod Row. We kind of kicked off our very first Sync Live in 2023, and Naylor and Paul were there, and it's just kind of such a fun add-on, to have you guys participate, and all of our speakers love it. Our business owners, our vendors, everybody loves Pod Row. So we're continuing with that, but it's just going to be a bit more cozier environment, and having lunches and breakfasts together, and so hope you guys can make it.
Oh yeah, you don't have to twist our arm.
Already there.
Okay. Well, and we thought, let's make it more destination oriented, and who doesn't love New Orleans,
Great.
You're totally right. When you were saying that, the first thought I had was, I could go visit New Orleans.
That's easy. Yeah.
Tell my wife it's like a 10-day trip.
Yeah.
10 days.
Really long.
We could do cemetery tours at midnight, look for vampires, and I don't know.
Voodoo,
you were talking about cemeteries earlier, Aaron. There are lots of cemeteries. If you get, I don't know if you've ever seen anything on the funeral processions in New Orleans. Like, it's the biggest party when somebody dies. Like, it's a parade, through the town. So, they know how to celebrate life and death. Oh, great. Gosh, well, this is so much fun. What we should do, Larry, you mentioned you have a video about how efficient you are using tarps, and
I have a video. It's up on where is that one video that we shot at John's house? We have a video of like us pulling the tarps and moving the tarps. It wasn't really even meant for that though. It wasn't even meant for pulling tarps. It was just kind of like us doing a cleanup. and showing it from like start to finish.
Yeah, there's some stuff on his Instagram,
YouTube.
amazing.
Okay. Well, we'll maybe put a link to that.
Yeah,
Put
absolutely.
a link to the Side Hustle Squad,
Awesome.
so people can check out your podcast. Aaron will get some links, maybe video on how to use the A.N.T tool and experiences there.
Yeah, Larry, if you send me that video that you're talking about, I'll repost it on my stuff because.
All right, cool. Yeah, and what we're gonna do is, when fall hits, we're talking about like we're gonna shoot like a lot of video with like using the A.N.T.
Awesome.
How it works, and like maybe do a demo on like how it works and show like the guys like running it. Just in the spring, it wasn't.
Let me know.
It looked too boring to use. Like it was like not a lot of leaves. You know what I mean? So it was like I don't want to have like
a mountain
out of the sky and like and like going. You know what I mean? And
you could have races. Do guys with 2 guys on one tarp, and then do the A.N.T tool.
One guy.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
And then we could, if the other guys are winning, we'll trip them.
No, come on, they're gonna win. The A.N.T will win.
He was pulling people around in there. I think he had 2 guys on the tarp at one point pulling around.
We'll have to see where we're going to do that in New Orleans. Okay, maybe Bourbon Street.
Bourbon Street,
yeah.
Right down Bourbon Street, down the middle of the road.
That'd be great.
That could be wild. Okay, yeah.
I love that. And I do want to say thank you guys both so much for what you do, because we kind of talked about how you can give people equipment, but if they don't know how to use it, or we're all kind of in search of running the perfect, most efficient business. And I don't think anyone does it. I think everyone has something to learn. And by talking about your guys' experience on Side Hustle Squad and sharing the information that you've learned, and then coming to SYNKD and Angelique, bringing all of these people together to share ideas. And at the end of the day, we're all leaving with information we didn't have and learning things, how to run our businesses better or do our jobs in a way that, for landscaping especially, you don't want to ruin your body to do it. So I just want to say thank you guys. I love what you do. And I mean, sharing information is a great thing to do that helps people.
Yeah.
We're stronger together.
Eventually.
Thanks, everybody. Great to get to know you guys more. And let's keep on touch on your fall cleanups.
Great.
Sounds
awesome.
Great.
Thank you.
So great to see
you.
you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.